The guy who believes he's worthy of nothing won't get up in the morning. He won't get up when his alarm goes off. He will allow himself to skip the gym. He will allow himself to be sloppy, be complacent, because he does not believe his mission is worth fighting for. He's not worthy of anything. The small acts you take every single day, getting up when the alarm goes off, being in control of what you eat, time blocking your day, doing meditation, affirmations, journaling. Every single one of those is a vote for who you believe you are. You are telling yourself with that action, you are worthy of this discipline. Are you worthy of working hard for? Not, I deserve to lose my shit this weekend. I deserve to drink myself into oblivion. I deserve to eat Big Macs and fast food and pizza all weekend and gain 10 pounds. That's what I deserve because I work hard. No, you deserve discipline because you're meant for something great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Father Podcast. I'm Chris Rodak. Why do you hit snooze in the morning? Why do you not go to the gym when you promised yourself you would? How come you don't read that book and instead you scroll YouTube? Unless, of course, you're watching the Rising Father Podcast. Why do you not do the things you promised yourself you could do? It could be a lack of discipline. It could be a lack of willpower. It could be bad habits. All of those things. It could be something deeper. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Something far inside of you that's been building or crumbling since the day you were born, depending on your environment, depending on who you surround yourself with. And that is self-belief. We're going to get right into it. When you hit snooze in the morning, when you break a promise to yourself, as I said, it could be a result of lack of discipline, willpower, bad habits. It could also be because you don't think you're deserving of that work. Think about it. You are going to go to work for somebody who you believe in. If you've ever had a good boss in your life, you want to go to work for that guy. You enjoy getting up. You enjoy his positive feedback. You enjoy working with him. You want to impress him. Or you believe in the company's mission. You believe that you're making a good product. I remember when I used to landscape, getting paid nothing, but I enjoyed what I was doing. I loved the end product. I felt like I was creating something. I loved to look on the owner's face when they came out and saw the landscaping, the edging, all of that. I loved doing that. I loved creation. If you don't believe you're creating anything in your life, if you don't believe you're working towards anything in your life, you are going to have a really hard time doing all of the boring, necessary steps it takes to get there. All of the very hard work it takes to achieve the life you want. You are not going to do those things because you don't believe there's anything for you in it in the end. Why would you wake up early? Why would you not have that beer when it tastes so good? Why would you not have that second or 10th slice of pizza when you promised yourself you weren't going to have any? Or say, I'm done with sugar for the rest of the night, but it tastes so good. Why would you deprive yourself of things that feel good and taste good if there's no benefit for you? If there's nothing for you in the long run, why would you do those things? You are only going to do those things if you believe there's something in it for you, which is self-belief. It's your self-worth. Do you believe on the inside that there's something in it for you, meaning life? Is there something at the end that you're excited about, that you're looking forward to? It has to be something in this life, right now, while you're alive, not just after you're dead. Do you believe you're meant for something? You're religious? Do you believe God had a plan for you, not just for you to die and be in heaven? Do you believe he had a plan for you right now on earth, that you're supposed to actually make an impact on people? As a husband, as a father, as a business owner, do you believe you're meant to create something? Or is your value purely in your death? Like I think I told this on a previous podcast of a guy I talked to who's 380 pounds. He told me basically his only value was in the life insurance his family would get after he has a heart attack. That guy does not want to get up in the morning because he has no self-worth. He has no self-value. His value is in the chunk of change his family is going to get when he's in a coffin. So no, he's not going to get up in the morning. He's not going to invest in himself. When I was a young lad, out of college, I went to my first teaching job, Salem, Ohio. I think my first year starting salary was $26,000. $26,000. And that was for 12 months of teaching, including marching band over the summer, jazz band, all these extracurricular things I would do. So I'd work 7 to 3, and then I'd have marching band, jazz band, all these little activities until like 6 p.m. And then over the summer, you're working all summer with all these extra things you do as well. So $26,000 for that. That was what I was worth to that school district. And I accepted it. That was my worth. But in the back of my head, I knew I was worth more than that. And this podcast is not about money. It's not about finances. Though it is about it in some ways. It's not entirely about it. But it has a lot to do with it. I knew I was worth more than that. I knew that that was a stepping stone in my life. Like, this is just a stopping point. For many people, I only worked at that place for 1 year. There were people there who've been there for 30 years who were jaded, miserable, and were telling me to get out. To be fair, there were also some amazing teachers there who were meant to be there, meant to impact kids' lives, and brilliant teachers, loving, warm people who I'd be blessed to have my kids as their teacher. Those people were also there. But there were also adults who spent the most meaningful years of their life at a place they didn't want to be and were telling me, dude, don't stay here. You're not meant for this place. And I knew that. I knew that on the inside. I knew that I wasn't meant for that. And I knew that, at that point in my life, I thought teaching was it for me. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I loved my band teacher in high school. And as a young child, you're kind of stupid. So my thought was, I like this class, so that's what I'll do for the rest of my life. But as I've explained on many earlier podcasts, being a music student is very different than being a music teacher. And I'm not going to spend the next 40 minutes talking about that. But that was my worth at the time. My worth at the time was that job. But I knew I was meant for more. I knew that was a stepping stone for me. So in the back of my head, I always said, no, you're going to do something great in your life. At that point, I thought it was going to be in music as a teacher or a performance or a composer or something, because I was so obsessed with music. I dove into it in college, practiced 6-8 hours a day on the saxophone, won competitions, I was composing. I was like, this is what I want to do for my life. Then I got my quote-unquote dream job, the one that I always wanted to have as a teacher, and worked there for 14 years. 5-6 years into it, said, this is not my dream job. This is not what I want to do. And I began to look for new steps for me. So I started investing in coaches. I started buying courses. I started joining men's groups. All of these huge investments in myself because I knew I was meant for more. That's the only reason I did it. If I thought that I was meant to be a teacher for the rest of my life, if I thought that I was meant to be miserable for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have invested in myself. But I knew deep down that I was meant for more. And I talk about teaching a lot from my perspective. Okay, my wife's a teacher. She's an amazing teacher. She loves her job. She never wants to leave. She changes kids' lives. And I did too. But it's not meant for me. I am a teacher in a different way now. My whole thing is I'm coaching. I'm teaching men to impact their families. It's a different kind of teaching. But my environment was very, very different, and was very different than what my wife's doing. So if you're a teacher listening to this and you love your job and you're changing lives, thank you. We need you. Keep doing it. But for me, I felt like my soul was being sucked out of my body, like that scene in Harry Potter where the wraith is just sucking him out. That's how I felt at that job. So I knew I was meant for more. I knew I was meant for bigger things. I knew I was meant to make more money. I knew I was meant to have a bigger purpose. I knew I was meant for more appreciation. I knew I was being taken advantage of. I knew I was, I did not like where I was. So I knew deep down, like, I'm meant for greatness. I knew I was meant for greatness. And because of that, I invested in myself. Like my very first investment, as I've said on other podcasts, was to a business coach, $4,000. When my wife got laid off from her job, we had maxed out credit cards, and I had to call a bank to extend our credit limit. At that point, I went into further debt so he could teach me business, because I knew I was meant to be an entrepreneur. I knew I was meant to be a business owner. I knew I wasn't meant to be miserable and financially stressed the rest of my life. I knew I was meant to impact more people, and only because I knew I was meant for more did I take a bet on myself. Only because I knew I was meant for more did I put in the work for myself. Only because I knew I was meant for more did I demand that I work harder, longer, and more intensely than ever before. Because I knew I was meant for great things, I demanded that I put in the work, and I raised my personal standard of living higher than it ever has. If I did not believe I was meant for great things, I would have allowed myself to stay undisciplined, out of shape, lazy, and sloppy. Because that person doesn't have to have his shit together. That person's isn't needed for anything. Like, that person's not a Navy SEAL you're going to send out to an important job. That person's just a cook in the back. No offense, cooks. I love cooking. But you need the Navy SEAL to be in tip-top shape, training all hours of the day, eating well, being very disciplined, working on himself. That guy's meant for great things. I didn't just have to show up if you just have to show up at this time, do your job, and leave, then yeah, you don't have to be a finely tuned instrument. I knew I was meant for very important things in this world. So I said, no, I need to be a finely tuned instrument. So that means I need to start adding some routines to my life. I need to up my discipline. I need to change these habits. I can't be drinking a couple times a night. I can't be sleeping in. I can't be skipping the gym. I can't be eating fast food at lunch and my lunch break at work. I'm meant for so much more. I need to time block my days in advance. I need to wake up hours before my family. I need to start hitting the gym every single day so I can have energy, so I can inspire people, inspire my kids, my wife, and my family. I am meant for greatness, so I need to become a tool that can be used for greatness. If you believe you have a purpose on this earth, you are a tool to deliver on that purpose. What kind of tool are you? Have you allowed yourself to rust? Have you allowed yourself to crumble? Like I love going to estate sales. It's a very old person thing to do, but I love it. So I'll go look around, and my favorite thing to do is to go to the garage, especially if it's an old guy who just kept his tools pristine. I love that. But you also go to his garage, and it's just buckets of rusty tools. There's like water sitting at the bottom. It's just everything's just covered in rust. And he's like, yeah, you can have whatever you want for 50 cents. Then there's those guys who everything's pristine. They've got dehumidifiers down there. Everything looks like they bought it yesterday. Everything's labeled. Everything has a spot. Same tools, different perspectives, different habits. One guy knew that he was building great things with his tools, so he kept them in great condition. He kept his tools in great condition. The other guy wasn't building anything. So he allowed those to rust, to crumble. He didn't care where they were. He didn't have a spot for it. He allowed his tools to disintegrate because he wasn't building anything of value. What are you building with your life? Are you building something of value? If so, you're going to keep your tool in tip-top shape. You are the tool. Do you believe you are building something of value? Do you believe you are worthy? Are you a project that demands finely tuned tools? Are you meant to impact hundreds or thousands of people? Do you believe your family is worth you making sure you are a finely tuned tool? Are they a big enough project and purpose for you to take care of yourself? Or are you okay just letting yourself rot away and crumble, disintegrate, get rusty, sit at the bottom of a wet bucket? Because what's the point? I'm already in my 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. Life's over. I'm not meant for greatness now. My time is done. If that's your philosophy on life, if that's your perspective, then yeah, you're not going to keep yourself in tip-top shape because you don't believe it. You don't believe you're meant for anything. So you will be the guy who lets his tools rust in a bucket in the garage. Or you could be that guy who says, no, I don't care what age I am. I still have my best years out there. I still am meant for greatness, and because I'm meant for greatness, I will keep myself finely tuned. I am worthy of getting up in the morning. The guy who believes he's worthy of nothing won't get up in the morning. He won't get up when his alarm goes off. He will allow himself to skip the gym. He will allow himself to be sloppy, be complacent, because he does not believe his mission is worth fighting for. He's not worthy of anything. The small acts you take every single day, getting up when the alarm goes off, being in control of what you eat, time blocking your day, doing meditation, affirmations, journaling. Every single one of those is a vote for who you believe you are, just as James Clear and other people have said. You are telling yourself with that action, you are worthy of this discipline. That's the perspective I want you to have. Are you worthy of working hard for? Not, I deserve to lose my shit this weekend. I deserve to drink myself into oblivion. I deserve to be walking around buzzed. I deserve to sleep in. I deserve to eat Big Macs and fast food and pizza all weekend and gain 10 pounds. That's what I deserve because I work hard. No, you deserve discipline because you're meant for something great. But if you're not meant for anything, then yeah, go crazy this weekend. Allow your tool to rot. Allow your tool to rust this weekend and for the rest of this week, for the rest of this year. Put it off till January. If you're not meant for anything, yeah, put it off till January. It's like knowing that you have to clean up the garage and saying, I'm not going to be building anything down there. We'll worry about that next year, next spring cleaning. But if you have massive goals, like I've got massive goals for the rest of this year, I got to get to work. I need to become a better speaker. I need to become a better, speaker. See, I need to improve my tools. I need to improve everything because I know I'm meant for great things. This podcast, taken off this past month, more than doubled my listenership. It's great. It's because I'm putting in the work. I'm listening to the feedback. I'm looking at my analytics. I'm working on my communication. I'm making my message more clear. All of these things. I'm always optimizing. I believe this is meant for greatness. I know I'm meant to help men, fathers, and families and children out there in the world. And because I believe that about myself, I'm willing to put in the work. That's why I don't hit the snooze button. That's why I go to the gym. That's why I read books to help me with my craft. That's why I'm willing to put in long hours. That's why I'm constantly willing to invest in myself over and over and over again, because I believe my mission and I believe my purpose. Do you believe in yourself? If you believe in yourself, you are worthy of investment of your time, money, risk, effort, resources. You are worthy of the investment of work, of suffering, of fear and doubt, of doing the damn thing anyway. If you don't believe you are meant for anything on this earth, then yeah, you'll hit that snooze button. You'll drink yourself into oblivion. You'll stay buzzed the rest of the weekend, because what's the point? So think about, why am I really stuck right now? As you can see, we're not talking about your bicep curl form right now, or your squat form. You might be somebody who's, for the past 5 years, have been jumping from workout plan to workout plan, program to program, coach to coach, because you think those are the things that are keeping you stuck in your health and habits. No, maybe it's you have a serious lacking in your self-worth and self-belief. Maybe you don't believe you're meant for anything. And because of that, you keep on sabotaging yourself. But there's still a little flame inside. There's still that little boy that's still in there. I think of my son Nathan, 11 years old. You ask him what he's going to be when he's older, he said he's going to be a billionaire. He's going to be a jiu-jitsu world champion. He's going to be a CrossFit world champion. He has massive belief in himself. His fire is raging right now. Remember yourself back when you were that 11-year-old boy. What did you believe you would be right now? Are you making that little boy proud? The boy that's inside of you, are you making him proud? Or have you given up on him? Don't give up on that person that's inside of you. So how can you make that boy proud? By doing something today that proves to him you haven't given up on yourself. You haven't given up on him. He's not dead yet. That's work. It's investment. It's risk. It's sacrifice. It's stop giving yourself excuses every single day, every single weekend, breaking promises every single. I can't tell you. This is just part of sales, and this is part of having a coaching program. This is part of any business. But I'm still a relatively new business owner. Like I know people who've been in business for 30 years. Like for me, I've owned this business. I've owned a business for 6-7 years, but Men of Fire's been about 3 years now, 2.5. The amount of messages I get on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram from people who reach out, say they want help, lose motivation after 2 hours is unbelievable. You wouldn't believe it. It's probably 50%, more than 50%. The ratio of people who say they want help to the people who end up on a call is like 10%. Because they give up on themselves between the moment of inspiration and motivation, and they can't make it through to booking a call. And I'm giving you my perspective because it's my podcast and it's my business. So this is my experience. If you have any business, you go through the same thing but in a different lens. Maybe not even owning a business. Maybe you're a counselor and there's someone who reaches out in an email and says, I am struggling with this. And you're like, okay, come on in. I can help you out. And then like days pass and they don't contact you again. That person has given up on themselves, or they've lost motivation and they've lost that feeling. They live their life based on feelings. They feel scared. They're like a mouse running from a cat, so they're willing to survive and do anything. And then they wake up the next day, the sun is shining, and they don't care anymore. I had this application from a guy. It's one of the most gripping, soul-crushing applications I've ever read. It must have taken him 30 minutes to write. He's losing his wife, losing his kids, losing his body. He's about to turn 40. Used to be an athlete. Makes decent money, but he just lost himself, completely lost his fire, living life in a seeming hell, all in his own head, because he allowed his habits and discipline and consistency and his identity to crumble. He allowed his tools to rust. She's like, I need help getting back on track. I was blown away because he just never booked a call. Never. I was like, you spent, it had to be at least 30 minutes writing this. And he even put in there, he said, this is the first time I've ever said these things out loud in his application. Just never took that next step. Like, this is what we do. We could have helped you, man. We could have saved the rest of your life. 12 months from now, you could be looking back on this day and saying, it's the day everything changed. You listen to the guys who are in the group, like that's what they'll tell you to your face. Like this, everything is different because I saved. Like I decided to save myself. I decided I was worthy of putting in the work. I was worthy of investment. I was worthy of taking a risk. And then they give up on themselves and they just resign to nothing. Like on a lot of my calls to action for my posts, it'll be I'll talk about something that men struggle with, that we help with, and I'll say, okay, DM me the word rise if you want to see if you're a good fit for this. It'd be like rise, 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 rise. The amount of those people that end up responding to my response is like 30%. If I don't respond to them within 5 seconds, they don't care anymore. Like, it's the moment has passed. But that's, you talk to anyone in this business, that's what it's like. That's just the way people are. But it's really sad. Also, the way people are, especially in this culture and where we're at, is we run to safety, comfort, and we run to the easy thing. So you see a post, you get motivated, you get inspired, like, rise, I got to fix my life right now. 1 hour pass, you get distracted on YouTube, you don't care anymore. You see the response back from me, it's like, hey, dude, let's get moving. What, you ready? You're like, I cared an hour ago. Even though nothing has changed in your situation. Not a single part of your life is better. But your emotion is different. And because you feel different, the rest of your life will be different. That's the reality. It's like a choose-your-own-ending novel. And those decisions are made every single day. If you believe you are worthy of great things in this life, you will be willing to do the work because you deserve it. People that work on themselves believe they are worth something. People that are disciplined believe they are meant for greatness. People that are sloppy, sleep in, drink all weekend, eat like crap, don't do anything, don't believe they are meant for great things, because otherwise they'd be taking care of themselves. You either earn a crazy weekend or a crazy week where you get to treat yourself like crap, or you say, no, man, I earned this extra time I can work on myself. We just got back from vacation, a whole week of vacation. Me and my wife found this amazing gym. Every single day we worked out. I was like, thank God we found this amazing gym. We're on vacation. We have extra time now to get ahead. Like, yeah, we enjoyed ourselves. We ate. I had some ice cream. We enjoyed ourselves on vacation. But also, like, yeah, Chris, you love working out. Don't deprive yourself of the thing you love doing. By the end of this week, you could be stronger. You could be more lean. You can make some progress on these things. Hey, you deserve it. This is what you deserve. You don't deserve to feel like crap at the end of the week. You deserve to feel better. When I work out, I feel better. When I love the way I look, I feel better. I used to go on vacation and hate looking at pictures and videos. Now I love it. I'm like, dude, you look good. I used to run from the camera. No, I deserve to love the way I look. I deserve to feel confident. I deserve to be successful. Because of that, I will put in the work for myself. Okay, so I took some notes and I wrote down some action steps for you to take if you can identify that you're struggling with this. So I'm going to reference my notes right now. I like how I've been giving you exact things to do. Like, yeah, it's one thing to talk about the problem, but what do I do now? So this is what you can do to start moving. These are examples of some things we do in Men of Fire and those kind of things. So this is all about believing you're worthy and looking back onto your past actions and proving to yourself who you are. So these are going to be how you can build that self-trust back. We're going to call the first one an integrity audit. Okay, so your self-worth is a direct reflection of your ability to trust yourself. Here's what you're going to do. Every morning, write down one promise to yourself for the day. Make it small and controllable. I will not hit snooze. I will walk for 20 minutes. I will not look at my phone after 9 p.m. And at the end of the day, mark it kept or broken and start stacking those small kept promises. It doesn't matter how small it is. Number 2, we'll call it the value inventory. Recognize your innate worth independent of any external validation. Okay, so write down an answer to this prompt. What is a struggle I have overcome in my life? The resilience, wisdom, and strength it took to overcome that struggle is your inherent value. It is proof you are tough, capable, and a worthy project. You are not unworthy because you haven't reached some arbitrary deadline by some arbitrary marker that you've created. Number 3, prove to yourself you're an asset worth investing in. Dedicate 30 minutes a day or $30 a week, whatever number works for you, to your growth. This is non-negotiable. So the resource is less important than the ritual. So the number is less important than the habit. The act of consistently setting aside resources for your own development sends a powerful signal to your subconscious. I am worthy of this investment. You are worthy of investing in. Last one, daily deposit. Your future self is an account you can deposit into or withdraw from today. So every single day, perform one action that is a clear deposit for your future self. One hard workout, reading one chapter of a challenging book, meditating for 5 minutes, choosing water over soda. Each act says, I care more about who I am becoming than what I feel right now. Do you care more about the man you are becoming than the feelings you have right now? If you care about that, you will live up to the vision you have for yourself. You will do the work. You will suffer the discipline because you believe you're worthy. So some final thoughts. You believe that you need discipline to build self-worth, but that is completely backwards. Okay? You must first decide you are a man of worth, and that core belief will make discipline non-negotiable. Because you are a man of worth, you deserve discipline. You don't go to the gym because you hate your body. You go to the gym because you believe your body is a high-performance vehicle worth maintaining. You don't force yourself to read. You read because you believe your mind is an asset worth sharpening. Stop chasing discipline. Start building belief. And because you believe, you will be disciplined. So here's your final challenge. Tomorrow morning, your alarm's going to go off. Set it a little bit earlier. You will face the most important choice of your day. It's not a choice about being tired. It's a choice about belief. The man who hits a snooze believes his present comfort is more valuable than his future potential. The man who puts his feet on the floor, the man who faces the cold and does the hard thing, does it for one reason. He believes that man is worth building. He believes that man is worth the price. Your entire life, your impact as a father, the respect you have for yourself, it all hinges on the small decisions you make when no one is watching. It starts with that single choice in the dark tomorrow morning. So when the alarm sounds, don't ask, am I tired? Ask yourself this question, am I worth it? The alarm goes off tomorrow. Don't ask yourself, am I tired? Ask yourself, am I worth it? Am I worth getting up? Because a man who knows the answer is yes is already on his feet. Decide to rise.